How the heck are you, everybody? I am Fastidious. Welcome to my channel and welcome to this week's edition of Should You Summon weekly video, where we answer the question, should you summon on that weekend's banners? And I will tell you right off the bat, this is not such a spicy weekend. However, while there are many of you that absolutely should not summon, there is a specific group that absolutely 110% needs to summon, and that is why I am making this video. It is going to be short and sweet, but even though I put up a poll, and I actually asked for the first time ever, do you guys want a should you summon? And more people said no than yes, I still am going to make it. I'm going to lump in those don't care with the yeses, because we're making this video. I won't do an intro or anything. We're getting right into it. I'm going to, right off the bat, tell you why you should not summon if you fit into one group, and why you absolutely should summon if you fit into the other. So what are those groups? Well, if you're in desperate need of heroes because you are early or maybe mid-game or early mid-game, you should summon. You've got a 2x, good time to summon, but most importantly, a 1+1 guarantees a 2x if you have to go to pity. This is the best way to populate your account, so if you're early on in the game, it's time to summon. Even if you don't get the best legendaries in the world, getting 2 of them, that is huge for your account. That is a reason for people to summon. But if we actually talk about the banner in question, the one starting on Sunday, going until Monday, I don't think we've ever had a first-time banner with a new hero go from Sunday to Monday, but we're getting that on this Magmus banner. Some of you have a very clear reason why you absolutely should not summon, and some of you have a very clear reason why you should. What's the reason not to? You have Hollow already. So if you have Hollow already, Theowen, free-to-play player, free-to-play hero, right? You can fuse him. Dallin, we have free-to-play cost generation, and Narvi, everyone will get her eventually. That's not worth summoning for. Hollow, absolute goddess, but if you have her, you're not summoning for Zelus and Magmus. No, you are not. I had a guide on Magmus yesterday. He is not terrible, but he certainly is not good. A very confused kit, unintuitive, a bit of single target, a bit of multi-target, a bit of AoE, a bit of a frickin' mess. You know, I really hate this passive over here. I really think it should be inverted. When his HP is high, I'd like to see more damage. When it's low, that is when I want to see him tankier and harder to kill. I think that makes much more sense. This is not a chaotic unit. This is a Nightmare Fighter. He's one of the coolest looking heroes in the game. It kind of sucks that they're doing him dirty like this with a pretty lackluster kit. I'll also say this passive, single target vulnerabilities, gross. Make it AoE, then he would be viable. As it stands right now, not viable. Zelus, why should you not be summoning for him? Because he's trash. He's one of the absolute worst heroes in the game. I actually think he is not discussed enough in the worst hero in the game conversation. You get Greed for free on day 28. He completely outclasses Zelus everywhere. Zelus, all of his kit is terrible. Bad multipliers, not particularly high base attack, 4479. It's fine for an AoE mage, but it's not special at all. Very lackluster awakenings. A lot of people will look out for his awaken number 4. Well, he is one of the highest base costs in the whole game at 25. His awaken 4 brings it down to 22. Look at that. Still 2 costs more than Virna. Still 3 costs more than any other popular mage like Comet or something. Just awful. Lots of this ground effect damage that isn't that cool. He doesn't do good against aerial units, so he really is just like Gear Aid 1. You can see that's where they're picturing him. He's got this huge extended range that you do not need. I think that's how they justify that super high cost, but who cares? You never need a range of that gigantic size, and you can't even increase his attack speed with any benefit, because an increase in his attack speed will not affect the attack interval of his basic attacks. Just trash. He's very bad. Vulnerability here goes up to 14%. Mari, you get her for free on day 3. She can do 20% very, very easily with very, very high uptime. He's just bad. I really don't like him. Multipliers are total dog water. So why should you summon? Well, if you have Hollow, don't summon. You don't want these 2. You don't. And these 2 you'll get eventually, no problem. If you don't have Hollow, Queen. Complete and utter Queen. I can't really put it any other way. Anyone that says I have Eloin, I don't need Hollow, you're wrong. Hollow is amazing. There's lots of content thinking like Nightmare Void Rift or really any Void Rift. You need 2 healers in almost every stage of Void Rift. And I've done who knows how many countless dozens or hundreds of hours in Void Rift. Probably over 100 now. I don't know. It's impossible for me to quantify these things. Most stages that you need 2 healers, the top 2 choices by far, and that's including people like Eunomia and all that stuff, the top 2 choices by far are going to be Eloin and Hollow. So even if you have Eloin, a lot of times you'll need a second healer, and that second healer needs to be Hollow. The biggest use case, by a mile, is going to be Guild Boss. And guys, I'll just tell you, since this video is going to be short and sweet, since I kind of just want to get straight to the point, as you can see, I already have, tomorrow I will do a full build guide on Hollow in anticipation of a lot of people that honestly should be summoning on Sunday and Monday to try to get her, as you're going to see. So I really want that information to be out there. You will not see a team without Hollow. This is my guild. Here's one with Leia. Oh, but also Hollow. Everyone else has had Hollow so far. Hollow, 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 Hollow. It just goes and goes. Every team will have Hollow. Did we find our first one? Here's an Element team, and I bet you it's because Lazy Pancake doesn't have Hollow. And we have to go to number 11 in my guild. Let's go to the world rankings. Hollow, 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 Hollow. You get what I'm saying? Why? Why is Hollow so good for Guild Boss? You'll get more on this tomorrow. The short of it is, Element is the best rage regen in the game, right? Because she can give rage to anyone on the map that is deployed as long as she is deployed. It can be 3% rage per second passively to absolutely everyone. Per 3 seconds, excuse me. So it comes out to 1 rage per second, but every 3 seconds, everyone on the map is getting 3% rage. That is huge. Hollow has a pretty strict condition. That condition being, she gives tons of rage if she is healing people. So she needs people in range, and they need to not have full health, so she heals them. When she does do that, though, with her single target basic attack heals, they're going to get 1% of their rage. So if you build her lightning quick, you'll see this in the guide tomorrow, tons of rage regen, just flying all around. Lightning quick, she'll get all these basic attack heals. That's a huge source. And then from her ultimate, this is the only non-conditional thing, as long as someone's in her range, so I guess a slight caveat there, when her ultimate, Light of Bliss, is active, this passive over here, Energetic Bliss, will kick in. Every single ally in her range, which is that big boy Vortex range when you promote her, every single one is going to get, when skilled up, and you will max skill her, she's an epic hero, is going to get 1.4% rage every single second for that nice long ultimate lasting 20 seconds. So some quick math there, you're getting 28% rage to everyone in range. While that is happening, as long as people do not have full health and they are taking damage and they are subject to being healed because they don't have full health and they're in her range, every time they're getting another 1%. So that makes her better than Element. It also must be noted, guys, that because Hollow's rage generation is tied to her ultimate, she can directly synergize with Laurel to cycle it as much as possible. So when you pick up Laurel, you're gaining rage towards her ulting again, which is then going to synergize towards giving the rest of your team rage, because you can, ult with Hollow as much as possible. Elowen's rage generation, however, is strictly tied to her auto passive, not to her ultimate. So she actually will gain no benefit from these Laurel cycling comps, and thus Elowen is going to be the lesser choice in those kind of team comps abusing those Laurel mechanics. As long as people are not fully healed up and they are in her range, which in a lot of content, she's not going to meet that condition. But in Guild Boss, where you can fit literally every single member of your team in her range, and you can assure that you're taking lots of consistent damage from Belial, from Forest, or whatever the different names are on the different levels, from the Dragon, you can actually guarantee her that she's the best in the game. She's better than Element, and I think the proof is very, very much in the pudding. If we look over here, every single team, world rankings, every team will have Hollow. Some teams might have Leia too, but they're going to have Hollow. Leia is the supplement, not vice versa. Hollow is the core. Here is one team. It finally took us till number 19 to have a team here with Elowen, and that is strictly because they're running a very spread out strat, as you can tell, with a mix of melee units and platformers, But for any conventional strat, it will just be Hollow forever. So let's actually go, and let's go to the end of the top 30, and let's see. If we go to the end of the top 30, here's another Elowen team, and there we go. So in the top 30, 2 out of 30, so 1/15 are not using Hollow. That's kind of what we're dealing with here, and they're in very specific, very pay-to-win situations, guys. So the top team in the world, here's Jet over here, Fibu. This is all you need to know, right? Hollow. Boom. Hollow's someone everyone needs to have. So let's answer the question. I don't need to get into spending groups. I don't need to get into progression. It is this simple, right? Should you summon on specifically the Magmus Zelus Hollow banner? Do you have Hollow? If the answer is yes, then you should not summon. Do you not have Hollow? If the answer is no, then you absolutely should summon. This is an epic hero, and she is tied with the other ones like Estrid and Deimos and Iona for the lowest base rate of any epic in the game. It comes in, at least from the last time we saw it, it was about 2 months ago. She comes in about 0.2%. So for every 500 epics you pull, you can expect on average one of them to be Hollow. This is insane. This is why we have people that have 5,000, 6,000 summons without getting her. Most people that get her, like me, I've only ever pulled her on her 10x. Now it is 15x. So this is as good a chance as you'll ever have. You're probably going to have, I don't know what it will come out to with the rate up. Let's call it maybe like between a 5 and a 7% chance for every epic you get that it is hollow. You might have to get a little lucky, but she basically is a legendary hero for a lot of the content you're going to use her in for. So if you can spare some summons and go for her, you absolutely must, because you easily could go thousands of summons in the future when she is not on rate up and not get her. I literally have never pulled her not on rate up. I pulled her like 6 times on rate up, but I've never pulled her not on rate up. And remember, that was 10x rate up. Now it's even more potent at 15x rate up. I hope that answers the questions. I know not everyone needed this video, but I needed to hammer this point home the longer I thought about it. So for the 41% of you, I hope that answers your question clear as day. Do you have hollow? It's a decision tree. When the answer is yes, should you summon no? When the answer is no, should you summon yes? The final thing I want to talk about, and I'll just plug it at the end, we will do a pulls party tomorrow for the 1+1 banner. I will be pulling. I do not think people should summon if they cannot guarantee pity on Queen of Roses, Dahlia, who should be coming by the end of this month, the next limited hero. She looks amazing, both in terms of kit and design. Because I have 27,000 diamonds and I've saved up about 50 over here, I can guarantee that I will hit the 1+1, and by the time she comes around, I can have the 250 summons I need. If you're not in that situation and you're at all late game or end game, skip this 1+1. That is my advice to you. However, if you're like me and you are pulling on the 1+1 or you're just full degenning it, hit me up. We'll do a big pulse party. We'll have the sign-up form on my Discord, the Fast and Fastidious. I hope to see you guys there tomorrow. I really hope this answers your questions. I drank a lot of coffee. I've been Fastidious. Share it with your mother. I'll see you real soon.
Fastidious.